Hey everyone, finish watching the next episode of Power Rangers RPM, Control-Alt-Delete. While out searching for Tenaya, Scott suffers intense pain. Dr. K scans his body. Something is seriously wrong with him. Shifter, meanwhile, activates a wave. Scott is hit by it and falls, before rising when Shifter flips a switch on a controller. In Venjix's palace, a new Generation 15 attack bot is revealed. It appears to be Tenaya. In Corinth, Shifter attacks and Scott has gone missing. In the battle, Scott appears, but under Shifter's control. He forces Scott to pull a weapon on the Rangers. Suddenly, shots hit Shifter out of nowhere. The Rangers take the chance to help Scott. The transmitter Shifter fired into him last episode falls out. The Rangers look around and see the shots were fired by Tenaya. Dylan runs to her only to find circuitry marking the right side of her face. Venjix has reprogrammed her. She no longer recognizes Dylan. She retreats just as Shifter grows. Scott is no longer under Shifter's control, but he feels too weak to join his team. The Rangers form the Ultrazord and defeat him. Dr. K recharges Scott and he faces Shifter, shrunken down to normal. Scott's helmet falls loose, but Shifter falls for good. At the garage, K analyzes Shifter's transmitter. The Rangers make a plan to use it to rescue Tenaya. The Grinders gather Shifter's remaining pieces, and Venjix orders Kilobyte to assemble his body into a new body for himself. Tenaya is sent out with a new attack bot. Dr. K has developed a weapon to fire the transmitter into Tenaya. They'll have a few seconds to catch her before the effects wear off. Dylan finds her, but she knocks the weapon away. Dylan gets the weapon back, but sees his team in danger and sacrifices his chance to use it on Tenaya. He fires at the attack bot, giving his team the chance to destroy it. Venjix makes it grow, and the Rangers defeat it with the Zords. At the garage, Dr. K scans Dylan and finds that the Venjix virus has spread across 40% of his body. If it goes higher, he could lose control to Venjix. This is a great episode, perfectly ramping up the stakes as we inch closer to the finale. This is exactly what I've wanted from all the other Disney seasons. They all either clumsily fumble around for a while or just ignore the finale until it's there. A theme in this episode is control. Scott finds himself a puppet to Shifter, still retaining his identity but at Shifter's will. Tenaya has been reprogrammed by Venjix, losing her memories and identity once again. There's a slight possibility she retains some control over her actions when she chooses to retreat instead of killing Dylan. Dylan himself faces the potential of falling to Venjix if his virus spreads. Shifter is finally defeated, and it's a pretty spectacular battle. He and Scott's fight is pretty intense, and capped with a helmetless shot of Scott. Shifter was a good character, not particularly deep or thoughtful. He was a loyal minion to Venjix, but once cast out, he was revealed to be quite clever and ambitious. I kinda miss the goofier Shifter from the start of the show, but his transition from the straight man to Crunch to a more serious threat was a gradual and believable one. The parallels to Power Rangers in Space continue with Tenaya's reveal. Not only was she recaptured and re-brainwashed by the bad guys, she has a technologically inspired visual on a side of her face to let everyone know she's not who she once was. Astronema got bits of tech on her face resembling a Borg from Star Trek. Tenaya gets glowing circuitry, a different but similar idea. In interviews, Chip Lynn seems like he didn't want this story to resemble Astronema Andros's as much as it did, but he was in a corner. Personally, I think he wanted to remake that story here and later changed his mind. I don't think if Eddie Gazillion had remained, he'd have gone so close to In Space's story. The siblings plot would probably be the only similarity. We definitely wouldn't be going to the point of Tenaya being recaptured, re-brainwashed, have a thing on the side of her face revealed in almost the same way as Astronema. Even with the obvious parallels, I like how the story's being handled. Everything feels like a natural progression. Imagine if someone watched RPM without having seen In Space and knew nothing about either series. RPM, I think, would hold up perfectly as its own story. It's the same idea when remaking a movie. Some remakes work so well and feel so natural you'd never know it was based on another movie. Kilobyte is a bit of a mystery. I'm curious if he's as loyal to Venjix as he acts. I could easily see him turning on him in the future. He's in charge of his new body, maybe Kilobyte will sabotage him. I'm also curious what will happen to Crunch. He's definitely not as underhanded as Kilobyte, ambitious as Shifter, or even as redeemable as Tenaya. Will he stick around? I could see him possibly becoming a good guy if he was left on his own. RPM has yet to disappoint. I'm really looking forward to how everything will play out. That's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.
He looked so different before!